if you're not going to pay for the tax cut, if you're just going to borrow the $3 trillion that it would take to pay for it, then it is perfectly appropriate.
But you guys never
to
paid
ask,
for all the
are we
spending
getting
you
our
did,
money's
Austin.
worth?
You guys never paid for all the spending you did. We added $10 trillion to our debt.
That's not correct.
You weren't worried about that then. You were worried
That's
about
not
Americans
correct.
getting tax relief now. Did the debt go up?
At the time,
did the debt
when
go
I was
up?
in the
Yes,
administration,
it did.
I told you perfectly well we were concerned about how to get the deficit down once we got out of recession, which we did.
I don't know. I'll have to respectfully disagree. We have two different memories of this. All right, just part of the fun you're missing if you're not catching my live weekend show here. Someone, by the way, said that the Cavuto Live logo looks like the TurboTax logo. And you know, they're actually right. But if you find those public officials, past, present, future, to be taxing, it's a show you got to watch. Get it? That's right. Anyway, the former CBO Director, Doug Holtz-Eakin, on all of that. You know, it is interesting to go back and forth. I do find it odd that a party that was in power that bemoans spending or tax cuts that are going to increase debts is a little rich. But having said that, his point was and is that it's way too early to say these tax cuts are the great elixir. What do you think?
I think it's true that it's too early to see how big the impact will be. I'm pretty sure we know the direction of the business tax reforms. They're exactly what the doctor ordered for a country that was bleeding headquarters and bleeding intellectual property overseas and having earnings parked offshore. So I'm quite confident it's going to go in the right direction. I think the larger point is that you did the math, and the Obama administration left behind a budget where spending was growing faster than the economy ever possibly could, and the result was $10 trillion in projected deficits over the next 10 years. And that situation they didn't address. Indeed, the only thing they really did was these caps on discretionary spending, which, if you'll notice, every couple of years we raise. So they don't actually work.
Yeah, we can't even stick to that backup financial backbone, as you and I have gotten into in the past. But let me ask you a little bit about what the president wants to do as we look at debt that piled up under administrations here. But one of the things that I've noticed is that the president really is going to go as far as he has certainly gone thus far to overtures to the other side, particularly on infrastructure. It's calling for $1 trillion in added infrastructure spending over the next 10 years. I guess $200 billion up front from Uncle Sam. Where's the money for that coming from?
I don't know. I think that this is not in line with the genuine problems that face us looking forward. I know they want to try to leverage as much private capital as they possibly can. That's a good idea in the structure, but I think if you get into bipartisan negotiation and bring in the Democrats, it turns into a bidding war, and I don't think that ends well. I think we need a much more targeted and efficient infrastructure program. You could use the existing resources to do that. You know, I think we know the major drivers of the debt in the future. They are the large spending programs: Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, the Affordable Care Act. We saw one run at those. The House bill last year, for example, did major reforms to the Affordable Care Act and to Medicaid. That's something that is going to happen. The only question is when.